we're gonna keep going with you at because, and then this is amazing because I think the Chargers are another team we talk about trading down a lot.
Yeah.
But if this happens and quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3, 4, pushing Marvin Harrison Jr. to 5th overall, it's logical to think the Chargers don't want to trade away from that.
Yeah, I think this is one of the only scenarios where you're going to see that the Chargers aren't going to want to trade down because they have a chance. When you have quarterbacks that go 1, 2, 3, 4, you're going to have Marvin Harrison Jr. sitting there at number 5. And what do the Chargers need the most? A wide receiver. They got rid of Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and they stumble into the best receiver in the draft and maybe make up for losing both of those guys with 1 pick.
Let's knock the next 2 out quickly. I think the Giants will try to trade up. In this scenario, it didn't materialize. I think it's going to be hard for the Giants to compete with what the Vikings can offer.
It's going to be hard for anybody to compete with what the Vikings can offer because they're one of 3 teams that has 2 first-round picks, and they're the only team of those guys that need a quarterback. So this is exactly why Kwesi Adofo-Mensah did that and traded with Houston to get that number 23 pick.
So sitting at 6 overall, I'm not going to be surprised if the Giants can't get up. And you know what? If that happens, drafting Malik Neighbors 6th overall is not a bad spot to be. You can try to get a quarterback later if you're hell-bent on it, but at least you get that stud wide receiver that's been missing in New York for so long. And who needs offensive players? The Arizona Cardinals, who traded back. We had them trading out of 4. They say, okay, this hurts. We'll let Marvin Harrison pass us by because we're getting an extra first for it.
Right.
So now they have, in our scenario, the Arizona Cardinals have 3 first-round picks and a first-round pick next year. And then they can still trade up to 8. I've got them giving up a 3rd-round pick to get up to 8, where they would take Rome Odunze, the last of the big 3 receivers. It's a little unrealistic maybe to think Monty Ossenfort would trade down and then back up in 2 consecutive
years.
drafts.
Yeah.
But it worked out really well for him last year. And this is a small price to pay to get the last of the 3 receivers that everybody agrees are on a different level.
Did you see that video that the Cardinals put out
of him just
navigating
the phones?
Like multiple phones? Like,
watch
I want
that
this,
video
that, and this,
and tell me that he won't do it.
Exactly my point.
So I love this if I'm a Cardinals fan. Stockpiling that much capital and still getting Rome Odunze. Love it at 17, the Jacksonville Jaguars on the clock. What do you have here?
They've got to make up for the absence of Calvin Ridley now. The big 3 receivers are gone, but your dude, go Tigers.
BTJ.
Brian Thomas Jr. is still on the board, and I just think that makes way too much sense. The way that he's able kind of to adjust to the ball, contort his body to make that catch, it's a welcomed addition for any team, and it's especially needed for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
He's so big and so fast.
Yeah.
And I mean,
it's his body control though. Like, he's big, he's fast, but like his body control is so good.
I know they signed Gabe Davis in free agency. I still
you need more.
That receiver core needs a little bit more. So I get it. At 28, again, it's an obvious one. Everybody talks about the Bills as a trade-up candidate. There's going to be a fun receiver there for them at 28 if they hang on.
For sure.
I don't know if Brian Thomas Jr. gets all the way down to you, Bills Nation, Bills Mafia, at 28. But Adonai Mitchell has a good shot to do it. You hang out there at 28. You get a really fast, really fun receiver. Play inside and outside. Player comps are dangerous. He's a little CD Lamb-y. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
He's a much faster player than CD Lamb, but like the way he moves reminds me of CD a little bit.
Okay.
You add that to the skill players you already have in Buffalo. I'm feeling pretty good about it. All right, that brings us to the 49ers. A team that we have picking twice. They did just trade Brandon Ayuk to Pittsburgh in our mock scenario. So at pick 31, do we have them addressing that sudden absence?
You have to at this point. And you obviously missed out on the big 3, missed out on BTJ, but Troy Franklin, Oregon kid, is still there. And I think this becomes worth it when you look at, all right, you gave up Brandon Ayuk, but you've now potentially gotten 2 starters out of the deal in the first round. And I just think that that's too good of a deal to pass up. I think that makes it worth it. It makes it the sting of losing Ayuk a little bit duller.
And I also, the good thing about, maybe Brandon Ayuk got lost in the shuffle in San Francisco, but all of that talent makes it easier on any rookie.
And any rookie.
When you know coming in that you're going to be at best the fourth option, maybe even the fifth. Yes. Remember, don't forget about Juwan Jennings.
I will not forget. You're right.
Don't forget about Juwan Jennings.
Don't forget.
When you think about that, it's such a nice landing spot for a rookie to come in and know he doesn't have to do heavy lifting for that offense to be successful. All right. That brings it to the last pick in the draft, or in the round, I should say. So many more picks coming after that. Kansas City Chiefs at 32 overall. I'm torn here. The Chiefs have a need at left tackle. They quietly haven't really addressed it.
Yeah.
But they could go out and sign a guy. Like, there are stopgaps available.
Sure.
And it sure as hell seems like all Patrick Mahomes needs is a guy that can get in the way anyway. So they can do that later. And look, I thought the Chiefs might draft a receiver in the first round before Rashee Rice's racing incident in Dallas a few weeks ago. With that uncertainty hanging over them, I think the need at wide receiver is a little bit more pronounced.
I would say it already was there.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Now you're really...
I'm not going to say they're forced into it, because if it's not a receiver, I bet it's a left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel better about what's available at receiver.
Sure.
And that's why I've got the Chiefs taking Ladd McConkey, another friend
of the show.
Last pick in the round. I'm not just saying this because he came on the show. Dude's a baller.
Yeah.
He's a fun player.
He is.
He's fast. He's versatile. Patrick Mahomes will love him. Chiefs fans will love him.
Yeah, for sure.
It makes too much sense, especially if the value's not there at offensive tackle. So I've got my guy Ladd going to Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
And that does it